Used car prices are absolutely insane right now.
Shut up and take my money.
Especially in the JDM collector market. Have you seen the prices of Mark IV Supers lately? These $12,000 automatic, non-turbo, shitty Mark IVs are selling for $25,000 or more. But why? Well, basic supply and demand, my friends. That's how the economy works. People start wanting the thing starts getting harder to find, people get scared they won't be able to get one, so they pay slightly extra. And this keeps compounding over 10 years, and finally the prices are just absolutely out of this world and completely unobtainable. But listen, just because the lake already dried up on Mark IVs and the FDs and the R32s and NSXs and DC2 Type Rs doesn't mean there isn't anything left to be or to become desirable. In fact, there are a few JDM classics running around on the streets that are about to pop and could be a good buy even in today's market, because these cars owned a generation of time for enthusiasts, right next to the legends that we just mentioned. And while the big ones continue into the realm of becoming not realistically obtainable, these bargain bangers will give you all of that classic JDM charm for a lot less money, just like they did when they battled for that attention from each other when they were new. But really quick, guys, before we get started, get in the comments and let us know what cars you think need to be on this list, and then we can compare them at the end. Are you guys ready? All right, let's jump right into it. Starting this one out with a car that I have yet to actually own, but I want really, really badly, the 2003 to 2009 Nissan 350Z. These cars are absolutely awesome. Almost 290 horsepower from the earlier models, rear wheel drive, manual transmission as an option, and it comes in amazing colors and was wildly popular when it came out. It looks great. The aftermarket options are absolutely insane, from wide and crazy body kits to suspension to engine parts to engine swap kits. It's literally endless what you can do to these things, and there's so much DIY information out there as well. This is also the same reason the 240SXs and the E36s are all junk and trash now. They were a dime a dozen at one point, and now the good ones are pretty well spoken for and being held onto for dear life. And I think the 350Z is on that exact path right now, right around mid-cycle on that. This is probably as cheap as they're gonna get, and I really wanna jump on that train, so you know, if you got one for sale, hit me up. Next up is a bit of a bitter one for me, because I never in a million kajillion years would ever go out of my way to recommend somebody buy a boosted Subaru and then go and modify it. But holy, Subaru hit my sweet spot with the 2007 Subaru Legacy GT Spec B. Now you could get this combo for a few years, but 2007 is, in my opinion, the real sweet spot here. You still get that pre-facelift exterior, which I personally prefer, but you also get the post-facelift interior. And for 2007 only, the Alcantara inserts were actually STI blue. Not only is this the gentleman's STI, it's also more practical than an STI. It makes more power than a WRX. It has an STI 6-speed manual transmission coupled together through a world-class all-wheel drive system. What's not to love about an off-road capable, winter-conquering, all-wheel drive turbocharged enthusiast sedan with a clutch pedal? Nothing. That's what I thought. Outside of your S204s and various other super special edition WRXs and STIs, the Legacy GT Spec B is one of the rarest sport trim cars that Subaru's really ever made, and it's something they haven't got right since. And with gasoline engines on their way out and electric tech on its way in, I find it very hard to believe that we will ever see another car on this level of cool from Subaru ever again. Go get on these things before they're gone. The Mitsubishi 3000 GT VR4 is a lost legend that I cannot help but feel sad about. How are these cars not up there with the Supra and the RX-7? This thing has a twin turbo 3-liter V6 that made 320 horsepower, the same as the Mark IV Turbo. It went 0 to 60 quicker than a Mark IV Turbo, and it has active aerodynamics and active exhaust in 1990. Even the interior on these cars was just futuristic and all about maximum luxurious performance. Now, the biggest downfall with these cars was the weight and the transversely mounted engine. In a straight line, these cars slayed a lot of stuff, but in corners and under high stress, the cars just didn't perform like a true sports car like its competition. And although I would call the Mark IV Super just as much of a grand tour as this car, it just wasn't brought along for the ride of fame. However, the 3000 GT VR4 went hand in hand with the legendary JDM sport-oriented car market, and they still did a ton of stuff right. This is a car that is going to be on the up and up really, really soon. If you have an opportunity to hop into one of these clean, well-maintained 6-speed twin-turbo VR4, Stealth RT, etc., there probably won't be a better time to pull the trigger on one than right now. I've been on the hunt for a nice one over the last couple years, and they're starting to go away pretty quickly. You just wait. These are going to come out of nowhere and really surprise you guys. Quit waiting around for Black Friday deals, because Fitment Industries has the deals early. We've got extremely generous discounts on wheels from Rohana, the 1552, Rotiform, Koenig, even Artisa, and so many more. We've also got a ton of deals on accessories too, like ceramic coatings, your lug nuts, apparel accessories, and our car care product lines. Guys, I'm serious. This only happens once a year. Take advantage of the deals before they're gone. Slam your car, not your wallet, only at fitmentindustries.com. Moving on to something a little bit more, how do I say this, front wheel drive. And I guess I just realized this is actually the only front wheel drive car on this list. So let me see some front wheel drive love and drop a car emoji down in the chat. Now let me introduce you guys to the Acura RSX Type S. Now this is a car that gets me all sorts of excited. This was the car to have for those guys that dreamed of having a Type R but couldn't quite afford it and still wanted a nice interior. Sure, these don't compete on the same level as some of the other cars on this list or even with the Type R, but what these cars did do was have the same spark of life that the Type R had. A high revving, medium horsepower, lightweight, manual, sport-oriented compact car that could put a huge smile on anybody's face for not a lot of money. And in my professional opinion, this is the next best sport compact after the DC2 Type R. And when all the DC2s are gone, these are gonna blow up. Now getting back on track with yet another twin turbo 6-cylinder rear wheel drive manual transmission car that again is from Nissan and again is a Z car. The Z33 generation Nissan 300ZX twin turbo is yet another JDM classic that hasn't quite hit stardom yet. And honestly, I think this one is right on the cusp of that. I can't believe it hasn't gone up yet. These are genuinely so good looking. They make decent power. It has Lamborghini headlights. The vice versa just sounds lame. And overall, they spark the same emotion inside of me when I see one that I feel when I see a freaking Mark IV Supra or an FDRX7. It just has that 90s JDM super grand tour look that you just can't find that kind of charm anywhere else unless you take a little peek at the second generation turbocharged 2-seater front wheel drive kind of subframe, but it's mid mounted on the rear, so it's rear wheel drive. The snap overseer king, the W20 Toyota MR2 obviously has to make this list. A little bit less traditional, a lot less talked about, and a whole lot cooler than a ton of other cars. The W20 MR2 Turbo was a mid-engine boosted performer that went on to prove that Japanese manufacturers can create something with exotic nature while following the classic JDM values, which cover, reliability, low displacement, lightweight, nimble, and efficient machines that deliver a practical driving experience while doubling as a fun haver. They make awesome little sleepers too. There used to be a K-swap turbo one running around town that was just fucking insane. Imagine pulling up next to a 600 wheel horsepower K-Series anything except for its mid-engine, so it actually hooks up. The shit gets wild and I need one. Here again, we have something with a timeless and beautiful design that takes cues from all over the world in its design language. But for some weird reason, the MR2 just isn't considered to be that exotic or that sought after. I feel like these cars should be on par with the popularity of an FD Turbo, but y'all just too busy sleeping on it, I guess. And lastly, the one that hits me right in the feels, because the last one we're gonna talk about is a car that is near and dear to my heart. A car that I've always wanted. And when I met my hero, I was not disappointed. In fact, I feel even more in love. There is one caveat though, and that is that the car in question, well, I think it's starting to get sucked into the collector market black hole. Prices are already on the rise and I think it's only the beginning, but the Honda S2000 is the next big JDM collector car. I know it's a little newer than the rest of the cars on this list, but it has a lot of stuff going for it. The S2000 is on its own dedicated chassis. This wasn't a base model economy car converted into something fun with a little bit of extra power. This car was designed from the ground up to be a sports car, period. And it really is one of the last naturally aspirated, high revving, race inspired 4-cylinders that you can buy. Automatic wasn't even an option. And granted, they made these damn things for 10 years, they didn't change much or add a bunch of power, which was something I actually resented about the Honda for the longest time. But as I grow older, I start to understand it a little better. The reason they didn't change it is because they got the formula right the first time. And that's the kind of character that takes a regular car and turns it into a future classic. It's not the statistics, it's not the 0 to 60 times, it's the character. But be wary, prices for S2000s are already on the rise and it won't be long until they gain the traction of those big 3 competitors. But what if I told you you didn't have to buy the S2000 of your dreams, that you could just win one? That's right, baby. Right now, you can actually win your very own track prepped, daily drivable, ready, screaming Honda S2000 and $10,000 $10,000 in cash. This future classic could be yours for as little as $5. All you gotta do to win this bad boy is go grab some sick S2000 giveaway merch and you're all set. Let me know in the comments what you guys think I missed and be sure to let us know what you guys want to see us do next. I'm Sean B to FI on Instagram. Thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart for watching. Peace.